All right, so have you ever felt like you're stuck in this someday land, where you imagine yourself doing all these incredible things, but you just never quite get around to it?
Uh-huh.
Well, we're diving deep into that feeling today. That's right. We're tackling procrastination. And to guide us, we'll be using the book Do It Now, Overcoming Procrastination.
Great book.
Yeah. And full disclosure, I was supposed to read this last week, but things got away from me.
It happens.
But hey, better late than never, right?
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in. I think we can all relate to this feeling of procrastination, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Procrastination is a universal experience. It affects people from all walks of life, regardless of background, ambition, or even how organized they seem on the surface.
Yeah, you'd think, someone who's super successful and has it all together, they wouldn't have this problem. But
Right, but that's actually not true at all.
yeah, it's like everyone's little secret, right?
Exactly. And one of the most common traps we fall into is this I'll start tomorrow mentality.
The book talks about that a lot, and it really is like the procrastination anthem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so easy to push things off and tell ourselves we'll do it later.
Right. And so what's really going on there psychologically? I mean, why do we keep telling ourselves that?
That's a great question. And the book really dives into the psychological impact of delay. We tend to think that our future selves will be somehow better equipped to handle the task, Oh, future me can handle it, no problem.
Yeah, future me will be more organized and motivated.
Exactly. But what we're really doing is setting our future selves up for failure. We're burdening them with this backlog of guilt and obligation, all these unfinished tasks that keep piling up.
So it's not just about like time management. It's almost like we're passing the buck to this imaginary future version of ourselves.
Exactly. And that future self might not even be as capable as we imagine. Circumstances change, motivation can fluctuate, and we might end up even less equipped to deal with the task later on.
Right. So it's like a vicious cycle. We procrastinate, we feel guilty, we procrastinate some more. And the book talks about the importance of urgency, this idea of if it matters, do it now. How do we actually apply that, though?
That's where the real challenge lies. And the book offers some great insights into breaking free from that cycle. One key point is recognizing that procrastination isn't just about individual tasks. It's about this wall we build between our present selves and our aspirations.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. When we procrastinate, we're essentially delaying our own progress towards our goals. Let's say you have this dream of learning a new language.
Yeah.
But week after week, you keep putting it off, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow.
That's been there.
Right. And what happens is your future self, the one who could be confidently conversing in that new language, is stuck at the starting line, weighed down by the inertia of inaction. You're robbing that future self of the opportunity to experience the joy and fulfillment of achieving that goal.
So it's not just about like the task itself, it's about the potential that we're delaying.
Precisely every moment we spend procrastinating is a moment stolen from our future self's potential, and that's why urgency is so crucial. It's about recognizing the value of time and using it intentionally to move towards the things that matter most to us.
So how do we actually bridge that gap?
Yeah.
How do we go from burdening our future selves to empowering them?
The book suggests a number of practical strategies, and one of the most impactful is reframing our perspective on time. We often say, I don't have time.
All the time.
Right, but what if instead we said, I'm making time for this?
Interesting shift.
It's about taking ownership of our time rather than seeing it as something that controls us. We have the power to choose how we spend our time, and when we consciously choose to prioritize something, we're essentially making a commitment to our future selves.
So it's like flipping the script. Instead of feeling like a victim of time, we become the architects of our own schedules.
Exactly. And when it comes to those really daunting tasks, the ones that make us want to procrastinate the most, the book recommends breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
That makes sense. I mean, staring at a huge project can feel so overwhelming.
Right. It's much easier to get started when you're facing a small hill instead of a mountain.
Yeah.
You focus on completing that first step and then the next and so on until you've reached the summit.
It's like that old saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly. And sometimes that first step can be as simple as just gathering the materials or setting a timer for 15 minutes of focused work. The key is to just get started and build momentum from there.
So it's about breaking down those mental barriers and focusing on taking action rather than getting bogged down in the enormity of the task.
And another technique the book mentions is called temptation bundling. Combining something you enjoy with a task you've been putting off.
Like what?
Well, for example, if you love listening to music, You could make it a rule to only listen to your favorite playlist while you're cleaning the house, or if you enjoy treating yourself to a coffee break, you could reward yourself with one after completing a challenging work project.
I like that it's like tricking yourself into getting things done.
Right.
In a way, yes, it's about making the process more enjoyable and building positive associations with action rather than viewing it as a chore.
Right. So instead of dreading the task, you start to look forward to the reward that comes with it.
And it's also about understanding your own motivations and using them to your advantage. You know, what truly motivates you, what gets you excited and engaged, and then find ways to incorporate those elements into your tasks.
That's a really interesting perspective. It's like making procrastination work for you instead of against you.
Exactly. And ultimately, the goal is to create a more fulfilling and productive life by being intentional with our time and actions.
This has been a really insightful discussion.
Hmm.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is that procrastination isn't just about laziness or poor time management. It's really about the impact our choices today have on the people we become tomorrow.
I completely agree, and that's what makes this topic so important. It's not just about getting things done. It's about living a life that aligns with our values and aspirations.
So for our listeners out there, what's one final thought you'd like to leave them with?
Take a moment to reflect on something you've been putting off, something that really matters to you, and visualize your future self having accomplished it. How does that feel? What steps, even small ones, can you take today to move closer to that reality? Remember, every small step forward is a gift to your future self.
That's a great point. It's not about being perfect or never procrastinating again. It's about making progress and building momentum towards the life we want to live.
Exactly. Progress over perfection. And remember the power of small steps. Those seemingly insignificant actions can compound over time, leading to remarkable results.
Wise words. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always.
It's been my pleasure as well.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Bye.